In today's episode of the Science of Energy, we will be talking about trigger anthropology. Fascinating stuff. So let's look at what is behind the triggers, why our body sometimes responds to specific situations, even though there is really no rational reason for it. I'm sure that has happened to you in the past, right? Like suddenly you have a knee-jerk reaction to something, even though like you cannot figure out, you cannot put a finger on what is actually going on. Well, that is because our body stores emotional patterns that the brain has already let go of. Okay. Essentially, it's in the wiring. You've certainly heard of muscle memory, right? Once you learn how to ride a bike, you'll never forget. Athletes do that all the time. Dancers as well. They learn the moves. They visualize it when they are not exercising, and then their body just moves on its own. Well, muscle memory is not restricted only to muscles per se. Emotional signals are stored in everywhere in our nervous system. In past episodes, I talked about enteric nervous system, the gut, right? Or the heart, how many neurons, memory neurons there are in these systems. The emotional signals are stored also in what is called fascia, which is the connective issues that holds everything together, our muscles, our nerves, and so forth. So the fascia holds emotional tension. It actually creates the posture patterns. So if you find yourself suddenly like going inside in a certain situation or recoiling in disgust, it's the fascia that is responsible for that. There is also myelin, which is the fatty layers around our nerves that are responsible for speeding up the electric signal going through our neural networks. And once the myelin is formed around the nerves, which happens after the birth typically, then the signal becomes much faster. A fun trivia, it used to be common to cut the tail of dogs of puppies when they were little. It was done before the myelin formed, so the dog didn't really feel the pain from that procedure. Anyways, so myelin is the fatty wrap that forms around our neural pathways or neurons. And that is strengthened by repetition. So it's what is responsible for the habit forming, like the neurons that fire together, wire together. That's how neural pathways are formed. And these neural pathways stay there long after the brain or the cognitive or rational mind has squeezed out the information because it's no longer relevant or no longer active. So to create a bit of RAM space in our brain, we forget stuff. But our neurons, remember, these neural pathways are still there. And if they are reinforced by our reactions to everyday situations, to threats, to specific people, and so forth, well, they stay active. But we don't remember why it's happening, why our reactions are coming up. Now, the myelin and the fascia together are responsible for the embodied autopilot, right? Our default mode. These things are contributing to that, how we fly on autopilot. So if we want to shift the old patterns and uncover the old patterns and the trigger clusters, figure out basically what sets us off, what rubs us the wrong way, well, yes, mindset work is absolutely important. We need to rewire the brain. We need to recode. So that process is absolutely important. But we also need to release these patterns from our body. That's an integral part of the work that needs to be done, and it does happen through inner work, but it needs to happen on both ends. So, in practical terms, what can you do to rewrite these patterns? So one exercise is somatic tracking. It's the first step in peace processing in some modalities. Essentially, you allow yourself to sit with the situation or with the emotion that is being brought up instead of trying to pushing it away or ignoring it or overriding it. And what you do is you start from the top of your head and you scan your body, looking for discomfort, pain, unpleasant feelings that are brought up by the situation that triggers you. And once you localize where that emotion, that feeling lives in your body, then you point a finger to it. It might be, let's say you are required to do public speaking and you're uncomfortable with that. Well, it's likely that it's going to sit around the throat area, right? Not necessarily, because the bottom line, the real underlying reason behind that might be somewhere else in the body. But let's say it's in the throat. So you point to the center of that feeling. Okay, you pick if it seems dispersed, you go for the center, and you close your eyes and you focus just on the bodily sensation, and you stay with it. You sit with the discomfort, because what we resist persists. If we stop resisting it and we allow ourselves to feel the unpleasant emotions or the unpleasant sensation, it's fascinating, but it actually goes away. So if you rate the sensation on a scale from 0 to 10, for example, at the beginning it might be an 8, and you start focusing on it, pointing to that. If the sensation moves, you move with it. And suddenly you realize that it's going down, it's disappearing. It works like a charm. All right. So this is part of the method, how you rewrite these patterns. And if anybody is interested, I'll be happy to hop on a quick consultation with you and explain the system. It's part of my Magnetic Leadership Blueprint program. So DM me, follow me, connect with me, send me an email. I will be happy to provide you with a quick consultation to see if this program might be for you. And even if not, you will still leave with some insights. I am not attached to the outcome. I'll be just happy to explore, assess your needs, and recommend the right solution, whether it's with me or with someone else. So thank you for listening. Hopefully you found something that is enlightening or valuable for you, and stay tuned for the next episode.